First things first, I thought for the first round of Super Rugby for 2026, I'd discuss the Queensland Reds versus the New South Wales Waratahs. Now, I've watched all the trial matches, I've seen all the lead up for all of the Australian franchises and most of the New Zealand franchises. And I'd have to say that New South Wales look really, really good. They look organised. They look very settled for a squad of players. Now, they've had heaps of people sign on in the off season, and they look well organised. They look really good. I don't take too much out of trials. I never do. But in saying that, I feel like there's something brewing for the Waratahs, and I think that this first round and these first couple of rounds will really indicate where all of the sides are at, including the Australian sides. I think this year will be a big year for Super Rugby for not just the Australian sides, but also the New Zealand sides, who I think are likely to be looking at leaving the Australian sides behind in a different competition in the next 5 or 6 years. It's a big prediction, but I honestly predict that New Zealand has, for a long time, blamed a lot of their slip in performance on the fact that they're playing the Australian sides more and not so much the South African sides as much. So I can see definitely something's happening across the ditch, and they could look at going it on their own, if you like, or only asking maybe 1 or 2 Australian sides across, which would be interesting, because I think a lot of Australian fans would be quite surprised if that were the case. I don't know if you Kiwis want to let me know, but I don't think you guys rate some of the Australian franchises obviously as high as what Australian fans do. I definitely don't think that the Reds or the Waratahs are rated as highly over in New Zealand as they are here. I feel like the Brumbies are to an extent, but yeah, in saying all of that, I don't think it's our fault or Australia's fault or the team's fault for New Zealand maybe losing a bit of momentum in the last couple of years. I don't think it's our fault at all. I think a lot of it's got to do with some other things that are going on in New Zealand, like other sports becoming popular, and also within the squad. I mean, you look at their current squad and you'll see that they've just got rid of Razor, who's an amazing Super Rugby coach. For whatever reason, he wasn't performing well enough for the All Black brand. One thing he did do was he started to blood a lot of new talent, and I think in the long run it's very important. It's going to be very beneficial for New Zealand. I can see that being so important for them, so much so that some people will probably look back and go, oh shit, Razor was kind of doing the right thing. Anyways, this first game between the Waratahs and the Reds. As I was saying, the Waratahs look really, really good, and the Reds have been sort of kind of okay. They've got more depth in fly half, probably more than any Australian side at all. Most of the Australian sides have 1 or 2 fly halves. The Reds have 3 or 4, and they've got a lot more depth at centre, and they've got plenty of depth in their squad. But I I don't know, the Waratahs seem to be really, really good at the moment. I'm going to pick the Waratahs to win comfortably, and I know that might be a big call, sorry to you Reds fans, but I can just see the Waratahs really doing quite well in the first couple of rounds, and they may really start to set a bit of a standard for the other Australian teams. And I just think there's something about them this year, as much as that. It's hard for me to say because I'm a big Brumbies fan, but that's just what I'm seeing at the moment. They look good. So yeah, and in relation to the other Australian match, the Brumbies and the Western Force, the Brumbies are coming over here to Western Australia to play on Saturday. I'm hoping to get to the game with my family, and I think it should be a good matchup. I'm a little bit nervous because the Western Force are definitely like the Brumbies' Achilles heel, if you like, the kryptonite to the Brumbies, and I haven't really been impressed by the Force in any of the trials or preparations. I've seen their training and all that sort of thing. I think it's a massive boost that they've got Nick White on their coaching staff now. Their forwards look very good. Their scrum looks solid. Their line out looks pretty good. Their basic rugby looks solid. Their attack does not look too exciting or anything to write home about, and that's where I think the Brumbies may have an advantage. But the defence is going to be the key thing, I think, in this particular game between the Western Force and the ACT Brumbies. I want the Brumbies to win, but I'm very split on this. I just don't know where the Brumbies are at. I know every season we get this whole the Brumbies are done. Rugby Australia and every other fan in the country wants the Brumbies to fail, and that kind of makes it it's almost like it motivates the Brumbies in a way. I'll say Brumbies, but look, I don't know. They're probably going to start a bit slow. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if the Western Force prove me wrong here, because that's it. So that's my Australian wrap for the rugby round one of the Super Rugby 2026. See ya.